Hello viewers, welcome to my new micro masterclass. In this masterclass, I'm going to talk about certain matrices, certain frameworks, certain concepts which I have developed for my clients during my mastermind sessions or consulting sessions with them. One such framework is the brand development matrix. Here, I've classified brands broadly at two levels. On one side, I call it strategic orientation. On the other side, it's tactical orientation. Strategic orientation is nothing but you're very clear about your core competencies of your business. I mean your strengths, your weaknesses, and all those stuff. And you strongly link that with brand positioning. It means you're positioning your brand based on your strengths. So why I call this a strategic orientation, and a key aspect of brand building is if your positioning is linked with your core competency, you tend to deliver the stuff, deliver the promise to your customers. It means, for example, you say, we are very superior at customer experience, and at the back end, if you have proper capabilities to deliver that positioning, you tend to do well in terms of delivering superior customer experience. So that's why I call this a strategic orientation. You link your core competency with your brand positioning, and then you take your brand positioning, create a brand identity, I mean a story around it. So you're very clear on these aspects. You're very clear about your target market, your market segment, your pricing, and all those stuff. This is what I mean by strategic orientation. Then tactical orientation is nothing but execution stuff. This strategic orientation, you think it as thinking stuff. Tactical orientation is execution stuff. It means your creators, your media strategy, campaign strategy, how efficient and how effective your campaigns are. Are you allocating enough resources into your strategy to execute the strategy? So these are the two aspects of brand building. I generally, when I enter into evaluating a brand or reviewing a brand, I put certain scores based on the strategic and tactical orientation. This brand development matrix, in this matrix, I've classified brands into 4 types based on these 2 categories. Hope you're able to see this, right? On one side, you have the strategic aspect, tactical aspect. I've explained these 2. Now let's enter into these quadrants. When your strategic orientation is high and your tactical orientation is also high, I call you as Phoenix brands. I call these segments of brands as Phoenix brands, high-flying Phoenix brands, because you're very clear about your competency, your strength, your positioning, identity, market segment, pricing, product. You have absolute clarity about this. And then you're also good at tactical execution. So you tend to do well. It means highly effective in terms of your campaign would work really well. You tend to attract right customers into your business when you're highly aligned with both strategic and tactical orientation. So I call these type of brands as Phoenix brands, as I said. The next type of brand is your strategic orientation is very low, but you're tactically very strong. It means your clarity about your core competency and linking that with brand positioning, your identity, your pricing, your segmentation. You do not have much of clarity over it, but you're executing fast. I mean, you're executing in a good way. I call you as high brands. I mean, you're creating huge amount of noise in the market, but you're not strategically aligned. People are not very clear. I mean, consumers are not very clear about what you stand for as a brand. So high brands. So the next one is your strategic orientation is high, but your tactical orientation is very low, right? You're very clear about your strategy, but you're not executing it properly. So I call this as anonymous brands. There is no energy behind your brand. Now you're very clear about your positioning, your identity, your market segment. People don't know you. There is no enthusiasm in the market. There is no energy. So that's why I call you as anonymous brands. And the final segment of brand is your strategic orientation is also low and your tactical orientation is also low. I mean, you do not have any integration at all. You're not very clear about your competency, your positioning, your identity. At the same time, you're also not executing stuff efficiently, and there is no effectiveness, ever wandering. I mean, moving in different directions. I call these as startle brands. So I leave this to you based on if you're an entrepreneur or a marketer, where would you keep your brand, right? If you're a Phoenix brand, you're on the right track. Maybe if you're a hype brand, you can slowly move in thinking about strategic orientation. These two segments are close to me. Even if you're a hype brand, no issue. You just convert it by bringing in more strategic aspect of it. Think with your team. Set up a small session with them. Try to identify the core aspects of your brand. That is your strength areas, your weaknesses, and then how do you position your brand, your identity. All those things you can do and convert a hype brand into a Phoenix brand. Even if you're an anonymous brand, you're doing really well on the strategy part, but you need to orient more towards the execution side. Turtle brands, I mean, you have to buckle up. Okay, so I believe this brand development matrix helps you in some way. See you in the next micro masterclass.